my name is Brent. I am the owner of Daily Drip and Goose Coffee. Daily Drip came out of a space where I was working in a corporate job and I wasn't overly happy, and I was kind of exploring what I could do and what I could go into with knowledge that I had. And I saw a gap, or what I thought was a gap, where home consumers were drinking coffee but they didn't know too much about it, nor where to source good coffee from. So I created Daily Drip, and the idea behind Daily Drip was to kind of trust me as a curator to guide you, to guide those who subscribe on a journey of kind of coffee roasted throughout Australia. So the premise is you subscribe to either an espresso or a filter category, and from those categories every single month there's a new roaster from somewhere in Australia that provides a coffee to slot into that. So one day you're drinking a coffee from a Melbourne roaster, let's say Community, who's my roaster for this month, and then the next you go to Tasmania and you're drinking a filter from someone down there. It's kind of keeping the excitement and the variety for both home consumers, and then also kind of showcasing Australian roasters from all over. When I first begun, the angle was home consumers, everyone who drinks coffee at home, like, let's get you away from supermarkets. We don't want you buying coffee from there because it's old, it's generally stale, and it's just not as good as it could be.
Hi, my name's Bella and I'm a Daily Drip customer. I heard of Daily Drip through my friend who also has a Daily Drip subscription, and she suggested it to me. And I love coffee. She said it was great coffee, so I gave it a go. And yeah, it's awesome. It's super easy. And what I love about it as well is monthly there's a different roaster. So every month I get to try a new coffee, and that's great. I don't even need to think about it, it just turns up at my door. So yeah. Daily Drip's great. I would 100% recommend it. It comes with these little coffee pods, so you just pop them into the thing. There's the Daily Drip beans, which are the home blend, the house blend. And then this is the, what is it this month? Community Roasters. What's in the bag? Mama's Honey this month.
As we rotate month from month, it kind of brings conversation to the room. We create these newsletters, which are just above me, and it talks about the company, the roaster, and what we've started doing more recently is every month the roaster gets to choose a charity, and we donate a portion of our revenue every month to this charity. Beyond the kind of home consumption and the home consumer of our product, we were approached at the beginning from an office to supply their workspace, and they kind of sprung the idea into my head, and they brought it to my attention that what we're doing is quite unique and that there was a real space for offices and workspaces for this product. So the idea is, and where we've kind of headed towards now, is we supply a lot of offices throughout Melbourne and Sydney, and every single month these offices get coffee from a new roaster from somewhere in Australia. They get these newsletters and they put them up in their kitchens, and it creates excitement within the office. So how do we pick the roaster of the month? Bit of a funny one. What I love to do, and kind of a passion where this came from, is I myself love to go to cafes. I love to try new coffee. I love to try new roasts and kind of explore what's out there and how and why people roast things the way they do. So a lot of it does come from exploration from myself, but also exploration from friends, as a lot of my friends own roasteries, and love coffee themselves and work in the industry themselves. So if I ever get a message from one of them saying, hey, you got to go check out these guys, I'm first thing through the door to give them a go. And I've discovered some pretty awesome roasters. So like prime example, last month we had Ichihaze, which is a small roastery out in North Melbourne. Lovely guy, Takumi, incredible coffee, and you know, it's just roasters I would never have known about. So it's a combination of coffee I've drunk myself and I've enjoyed, or coffee that people have recommended and then I've tried and enjoyed. Roaster of the month this month, he was actually my first ever roaster on Daily Drip, and a lot has changed on both our end and his end since then, so we thought we'd give him another run and showcase him in a bit more of a Daily Drip way now. He's home ground in Tullamarine, really lovely guy, so it's just been fun revisiting and re-showcasing, especially to those who kind of signed up to the subscription later and never got to try it the first time around. So yeah, we love Daniel and community.
Hey, welcome. Thank you. Good to see you. Hi, my name's Daniel. I am the owner and roaster at Community Roasters Coffee here in Tullamarine. Community Roasters for me came about from a sort of a transition through hospitality. So I started off, my original first thing I ever did was uni, and I did marketing and information technology. Didn't love it, hated it, no real people interaction. I stepped into hospitality at the front end, serving people in cafes. Loved it, but decided I wanted to be a chef. So I went through Box Hill, did my cert as a chef, worked in a lot of venues around Melbourne. And the more I did that, I realized I wanted to be forward facing with customers. So I pushed through, bought a cafe, got rid of my restaurant, worked on the coffee machine out the front with the people, loved the interaction, loved coffee, and then loved what I could do with it. And I was very fortunate. I had some really good people to learn under. Once I saw their passion and love for it, I understood it as a chef that it is something that you do create and you do develop, and you are able to impart your skills, love, and all of that stuff into it. So that became my focus. I pushed through, started roasting my own for my own cafe, which then gave me a really direct contact from production to customer service. So we were able to see the product from the moment we roasted it, developed it, to the moment it went to the customer and they enjoyed it or didn't enjoy it. And that was the founding years of Community. That was 2010, 2011. By 11, we were supplying our cafe and a couple of others. We built our first facility in Eltham on a 12 kilo Probat. I am fanatical about quality in everything we touch. Generally, it's always whatever the best grinder is at the moment. Machinery-wise, generally the top end of the market, which allows you to show the flavor and the quality of the product. We roasted on that Probat till we were doing about 2,000 kilos a week, and that poor thing was struggling. It was being serviced in the middle of the night to keep up with production. And then we went to this 4.5 years ago, built Tullamarine, and this has allowed us to keep pushing and growing the business to where we are today. Roasting coffee is pretty easy. Comes in, it gets weighed, it goes in the top, gets held, drum goes to temperature, we allow it to come up to what we think the drop is. It goes in, it's roasted anywhere between 12 and 15 minutes. It's taken out, it's cooled, and it's cooled back to room temperature. Once that's done, we allow it to sit for 3 to 7 days, depending on how it's roasted, and then it's good to go and be consumed. It's color checked, and out it goes. So this is for our decafs, our single origins, our small production stuff. Specialty blends, if we're doing one, goes through here, or the bulk production goes through the big boy. I tend to lean back into my chefing background a lot. I look for what am I trying to achieve as an end result in the product? So am I looking for bright, fruity, chocolatey, milk, caramel, toffee, tobacco, plum, grape? What am I looking for in that end profile? Do I want it to cut with milk? Do I not want it to cut with milk? So I always try for the end result, and then I reverse engineer our products backwards. So when we source coffee now, we've got 3 farms we work directly with. We've got India, New Guinea and Ethiopia now, which are farms that we have been dealing with for about 8 years. Excuse me. Biggest thing for us is understanding what it is at the origin end of the market. So we go, we see the way it's picked, the way it's processed, the way it's dried. Once you start to see that, it allows you to understand and appreciate what goes into producing a product to a certain quality. Yeah, it's been great to go and meet the farmers and talk to them and meet their families and see the developmental changes that have come through buying better product for us, but also paying above market. Something we've done from day one is always pay what the product's worth, not what the market dictates. So we met you guys about 2-ish years ago when this was a concept coming up, and we got introduced through a mutual friend. Loved the concept, loved the idea, loved the fact that you were trying to feature someone new every month, which allowed you to highlight roasters, feature us, allowed us to show ourselves to a different audience than our normal as well, which was fantastic. So it was a really good opportunity for us to work with someone like yourself.
You guys were actually my first ever roaster, so glad to have circled back to you. And obviously you've changed, we've changed, your coffee's changed, and it's been awesome to see how we've grown and then obviously how you've changed during that time as well.
Yeah, it's been like watching the retail market educate themselves further and further through your gateway has been amazing. But it's been amazing working together and looking forward to another round.
Goose Coffee kind of came out of a space of both necessity and good timing. I had been running Daily Drip out of my house, kind of bedroom, living room per se, and I needed a space for storage, I needed a space for kind of dispatch and to showcase Daily Drip on a greater scale. So I was looking for cafes. I'd been looking for cafes for quite some time, and I stumbled upon a space that had both storage options and kind of a front for where Daily Drip could be showcased. And look, opening a cafe has probably been on my list for the past 5-10 years, so it's really nice to tick it all off and get the boxes out the house and, you know, free up a bit more space. This is the real retail shelf per se. What we have is our roaster of the month kind of scattered throughout, and the idea here is to kind of just really showcase and show what they have. We do also have our own blend, of course. Very lucky to have a friend who owns a roastery out in Ravenhall. The idea behind the Daily Drip blend was to bring a bit of consistency. So while people do love the excitement of ever-changing blends, there's also those who love a consistent, always good blend. So we really wanted to appeal to everyone in that sense. This is the blend we run through the grinder when we do all milk beverages in Goose Coffee. Probably the hardest part of opening a business, starting a business for me, was finding a name. I don't know how people do it, but like I kind of had a checklist of names that had something to do with location. So let's say Chapel Street, St Kilda. And then I went through categories and I hit the animals, and one of my favourite cafes in Perth was called Duck Duck Bruce. And then I was like, Duck Duck Bruce, Duck Duck Goose, and then I was like, Goose. And it kind of stuck, and you know what, the whole idea was to never take yourself too seriously, have a bit of fun, and I think Goose fit the bill pretty well for that.